Hello, hello. It's 7 o'clock and we're live at the Happy Business HQ, ready with another mini masterclass for all those dream builders and world changers who are trying to lift the mood of the planet and actually build resilient businesses. All my mates, in other words. Right, so what we're doing today, I like this one actually. This is a pretty good one. It's called It's Just Too Hard, I Want to Quit. And the reason that I'm doing this one today is because I myself have been in a position many, many times where being a business owner, and I run two businesses simultaneously, being a business owner, there's a lot for me to think about. There's a lot for me to do. There's a lot of work. I was saying to my mum only today that if potentially I could literally be doing something 24/7 working on my business. It's never ending. The marketing, the finances, the admin, the organization, creating stuff, speaking to people, networking, you name it. That's just a few of the things. And when you start stacking things on top of that and being the only little person in the middle of your business, it can get really, really difficult really fast. It can be very difficult to stop the panic. It can be very difficult to stop the pressure, especially if you've got a life outside of your business and you have to kind of juggle those plates as well. So when we're spinning all these plates, it can be really difficult. It can be really difficult when money comes into the equation, because running a business is not that easy. Making money from a business is not that easy. Everybody makes it look really easy, and it absolutely isn't, because it's absolutely relentless. And the thing that we are pursuing is something beyond money, which we've spoken about already. But what happens is there are times when things feel really desperate, when things feel really close, really heavy. And there's been times in my life, many, many times, where I found myself in very difficult situations, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, not so much now post-pandemic, because I've tried to build resilience around it. But still, occasionally, there still come times where I feel like I could be doing something different, moving away from what I'm doing. But there were times where I was lying in bed, worrying and actually crying tears, not being able to go to sleep, worrying about how I was going to pay bills, worrying how, whether I had enough time to sort things out, whether I could fulfill my promises to people. And they were very difficult times. And so sometimes it felt like the only way out would be to quit the business, give it all up, and move on and find full-time work, find some sort of security in that. And I totally get why a lot of people that I speak to, and I do get messages quite often in my messenger inbox from a lot of my biz besties saying that I've been on Indeed, I've loaded up my CV, I've been looking for jobs, I've had enough, I really can't take it, just too much. And coming back from that can be a really difficult thing. But I don't want that to be the reason that you leave your business, because things are going to be hard. It is hard in business, but there are reasons that you left your corporate job. There are reasons why you decided to go into business for yourself in the first place. And there are sacrifices that you've made that, you made for a really good reason. So if you've got a dream that you're building, I'd really like you to carry on doing that. Now, if you're going for a job because it supports you in your business, then that's a different matter altogether. We're talking about those sleepless nights. We're talking about the severe pressure that we can be put under that will make us feel like we just want to give up. We don't want to carry on anymore. So what can we do? I've got three things for you today. Three things for you today. Three little different approaches that you might consider if you ever find yourself in this position. All right. So there's a thought, there is a question, and there is a word. Let's start with the thought. Okay. So it was quite a while ago. I heard a story. I think it was Darcey Bussell, the famous ballerina. I think it was Darcey Bussell that was talking. For some reason, that's who I've connected it with it in my mind. It might be somebody else, I don't know. But I think Darcey Bussell told a story of when she was training to be a ballerina, and sometimes it's absolutely relentless, the training that you need to to do to become an athlete or world class or be really good at something. It can be very relentless. And there were times where she wanted to quit, where she didn't want to do it anymore. And she was told by, I think it was her mom, that the only thing that she wanted her to promise was then and in the future is that she never takes the decision to quit. I can't get my words out. Never makes the decision to quit when she's at the point where she feels like that's the only choice open to her. When she is in such a place and she's on the floor, that is not the time to make decisions. So the thought is, can I put this decision off and make it when I am in a good place? So when you make decisions, when you make rational, good decisions that are going to benefit you in the long term, sometimes you need a bit of a fire up your backside, and I totally get that. But for the most part, when your nervous system is regulated, when you're in a calm place, when you can think things through logically as well as emotionally and not come at it from a place of feeling where your perception of it is so heightened that the decisions that you make are going to impact you going forward, even when you're not feeling like that anymore, then it might be an idea to have the thought that if I'm in this place, that is not the time for me to make a decision. So maybe considering that as an approach and having that as a thought, because there can come a time, and there probably will come a time, where you just want to give it all up and leave. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that when you're feeling really under pressure, that might not necessarily be the best way forward for future you, as opposed to creating that sense of relief right now because the pressure is too much. So that is the first thing. The second thing is the question. Okay, so what happens is, back in the day when I did coaching, and even to this day when I talk to my biz besties and I'm in contact with them and we send messages and we have a little banter and we catch up with each other and things, a lot of them open up to me and let me know that things are really difficult for them. They're wondering how to get out of tricky situations, whether it be financially or whether it be in terms of overwhelm or whether it be in terms of responsibility. And quite often they say, you know, I want to quit. I can't do this anymore. And what I do is I ask them to dial it back a bit. So rather than taking the decision to actually move forward and make drastic decisions, is start looking at what they need right now. Because the chances are that what has brought them to this point is a series of things based around ways in which they're not fulfilling their needs, not meeting their needs. And there can be something as basic, as absolute basic as sleep, as, you know, getting enough sleep, getting a rest, having proper food, having emotional connection. All these things that they need as an individual, as a human being, the needs are not being met, and it's chipping away at them and it's taking away their energy and it's bringing them to a place of desperation. And I don't want them to be in a place of desperation. I don't want that for any of my mates. I don't want that for any of the people that I work with. And I certainly don't want it for anybody who has got a dream that they're pursuing it for the good of man, to make an impact, to make the world a better place. So what I ask is, what is it that you need right now? And I'm usually met with silence, because when you're in that kind of place, it's very difficult to tap back into what it is that you need right now, probably because you've not been giving it yourself. You've not honored yourself enough to give yourself what it is that you need right now. So that is the question. When you find yourself in that position, when you're lying in bed wondering how you're going to pay the bills, when you're sitting there panicked about what it is that you're going to do next or the work that you've got, it might be that you need something else, and actually sitting with that and asking yourself and seeing what comes up. It could be that you need a good rest. It could, and honoring yourself and doing and giving yourself what you need is absolutely vital at that point, because without it, you can't go beyond that point. It's not about what you need in the future. It's about what you need right now. So it might be that you need a hug, or you need somebody to talk to, or you need to be heard, or you need some sleep, or you need to hydrate, or you need to get moving, or you need to get your energy levels back up again. Whatever it might be, it's a matter of actually asking yourself that question and then answering it and responding. So that's the question. What do I need right now? And the third thing is a word. So we can use words as little triggers, to set things in motion. And it wasn't that long ago that I was working with somebody who goes 100 miles an hour. This woman is phenomenal. She goes 100 miles an hour. She does so much. And we were talking about what her needs are as well. And one of the things that you find is when you're a leader, when you're at the helm of a company, a business, at the front of an idea, and you're the one that's creating it, there's nothing in front of you. There's nobody in front of you, because you're the one that's leading. Everything that you're doing, everybody is behind you. So it's very difficult. It feels like a very lonely place, because you can't feel like you've got somebody to connect with who has your back, who can hold you in that safe space. It happens again and again and again. And sometimes we need to be able to have that safe space. That person, it only takes one person. You can have multitudes of them, but it takes one person, and setting up a little system with a word where when you go to them, they're your ride or die. They will do anything for you. So identifying who that might be, but making sure that they're there for you and they understand what it is that you need at that point. When you come to them, you're on the floor so that they understand exactly where you are and they can lift you up again, because that is the only thing that they will want to do for you right there and then, because they're your friend. They love you. They want to help. And we don't ask for help very often. But this word, and the word is gingerbread. It was a random word, I've got to admit. It was just something that popped out of my head as I was talking. It's creating a word, a trigger word, a gingerbread, that you can text, that you can say, that you can start that emergency button, that big red emergency button. You can put into place. Make sure that your friend knows what that is, so that they can then hold that space for you to get better. It might be something practical. It might be, you say gingerbread, they need to take the kids for a little while so that you can have a sleep. It might be gingerbread that they send out a couple of emails for you when you want to take a little bit of a step back because it's all getting too much for you. It could be gingerbread, we need to go off and let off some steam. It might be gingerbread, let's go down to the cafe. I've got a problem. I need somebody to offload to. You are my friend. I need you. Be there for me. It is about that. I need you. And having that one person that you can actually rely upon to be there when you need them is a gift. It's a really important thing when you are a solopreneur, when you're working on your own for the most part, when you feel like you're doing big things, but it feels a very empty, lonely kind of place. Having people who have your back, who can hold that safe space for you, is absolutely a gift. So we've had the thought, don't make decisions until you're in a good place to make them. We have the question, what do I need right now? Really important. And we have the word, which is gingerbread, which is that emergency button, that ride or die, that person who will be there for you and give you exactly what you need, even when you can't speak the words. They know you enough. They have that relationship with you enough. And when they hear the emergency call, the emergency button, the emergency text, they can come in, swoop in and help you with it. And you can receive that as well because you trust them. So those three things are things that you can actually use, very simple things that you can use, that you have in your consciousness now to use when you're in a place and it's not the best place and it is very overwhelming and it can be lonely and it can be a very difficult place, because we will find that we're in these places time and time and time again whilst we're building resilience. And when you have these things as backup, when you have these places to go where you can actually start bouncing back from them, it makes it a lot easier to do. It's that safety net, if you like. So I'd like you to start thinking of it in terms of this. These are kind of life lessons, really. You know, one from Darcy Bustle, one for all the people that ever needed anything, and one gingerbread where, you know, you have somebody that you can fall back on. It makes a massive difference to your life, to building resilience in your business, and to actually getting to where you want to go. It was quite a serious one, actually. 3 things, quite a serious one, but very, very important nonetheless, because I want you guys to make sure that you're doing all right, that you have people around you that can help you, and that you crack on with the business of doing what you're supposed to be doing and not having to constantly deal with things under pressure, being able to bounce back stronger, more resilient, and reminding yourself who the heck you are. That's it. That's it. Anyway, so what we got next week? Well, we've been talking a lot about resilience. We've been talking a lot about resilience in business, how you bounce back, how to make yourself stronger, how to deal with all the shit balls. But we haven't really talked about what a resilience business actually looks like. So we want to build resilience, but what kind of thing are we aiming for? What does that actually look like in day-to-day business life? I'm going to be exploring that next week. So if you fancy joining me, come along, 7 o'clock next Thursday, right here at the Happy Business Club Facebook page or YouTube, because I'm sticking this on YouTube. And we'll flap our chops about it and figure out what that is. So I shall see you next week. Mwah! Love you.